Good afternoon. We appreciate the blessings of the Lord. It is my job today to introduce the Mistress of Ceremony, Dr. Denise Folks. She comes to us with a wealth of community work with Girl Scouts of Central Maryland for many years. She founded Positive Youth Expressions over 25 years ago. Baltimore City's public school teacher, Baltimore County public school teacher, founder of her the Greater Youth Christian Academy, Little Folks Child Care Center, right on Bitlow Street. She has been awarded countless citations and all, and a graduate of, two-time graduate of Coppin State University, a PhD at Notre Dame, all that good stuff. We're just glad to have her here today.
Amen.
I present the Mistress of Ceremony, Dr. Denise Folks.
Amen.
Well, like I always say, look at the person in back of you and say, God bless you.
God bless you.
To the left, God bless you.
God bless you.
To the right, God bless you.
God bless you.
Now look to the front and say, God bless you.
God bless you.
And you are blessed from the top of your head to the sole of your feet.
Your body, your soul, your spirit is blessed. And I'm coming from the north, the south, the east, and the west.
Give it up for Pies and Youth Expression. I brought my posse with me. Now I want you to do one more thing. I want you to look at a person, maybe two or three, and say, this is the greatest city in America.
This is the greatest city in America.
Find somebody else and say, this is the greatest city in America. You know what? You all don't sound convinced. Hold on. We're going to just say it all together. 1, 2, 3.
This is the greatest city in America.
Now put your hands together for that. You have to speak it into existence and believe it. And as my wonderful husband of 21 years said, that we are Positive Youth Expressions Educational Institute, right there at Bitlow, Saratoga, right off of Penrose Street. We've been down there since 1999, and we are now celebrating our 24th anniversary in the communities, in Baltimore City communities. I'm going to ask our bishop at this time, my bishop at this time, to come up here and lead us in prayer. And then we'll have some testimonials from Miss Yaskins. Is she here? Yaskin or Yasin? Okay. Did I pronounce the last name right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay, Bishop.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you gathered us here today on this momentous occasion in our faith journey. Your grace is amazing. Your love is overwhelming. And your kindness is hailed. We stand in awe of you. You brought about this center. Your love is ever present in our affairs. Your light has brightened our way. Trusted in you, we join one another as a community of faith on a real journey, a journey to grow ever deeper in our faith, in our love, in our desire to long for you. Along the way, remind us of your love, of your sacrifice for us, of your ever mindful presence. Let us never lose hope along the way. We thank thee for Edna, Andre, Tim, Sterling, and the entire Fayette Street outreach. Bless our mayor today, Catherine E. Pugh. Bless Delegate Haynes and the entire Bon Secours community. We thank thee for the many years of synergy in this community, years of tireless work in community building. Help us to be strong in faith, strong in love, strong in our desire to be ever merciful and mindful of your presence. For it is in you, strength and love and the graces you've bestowed upon us, that we can go out and share your love to this community. Bless this community center. May souls be empowered enlightened, and encouraged to fulfill their God-given tasks in the earth. In the holy name, the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and all the people said, amen.
Amen. All right. Let's put our hands together again. Let's keep on clapping while we're here. And we do want to recognize our mayor on the Baltimore City Police Department, our delegates that's here today. Put your hands together for them. They work really hard. I wouldn't want to walk in any of their shoes. I'm going to stay comfortable as a principal and a pastor. That's enough right there. Amen. So we're going to have some testimonial at this time. That would be you? Yeah, that would be you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Takuma Yasin, and I've been born and raised in this area my whole life. And Tim wanted me to say a few things about this community center. As I made mention earlier, I grew up in this area, and Mr. Bridges' mother, Miss Vi, was like a second grandmother to myself. They always kept a watchful eye on us in the neighborhood. Any and everything we did wrong, it got right back to my parents. So Miss Vi would spank me, and then I get one from my grandmother. That's the type of community we grew up in. Unfortunately, I went astray. No matter my upbringing, I did go astray, and I had to pay for it. Ultimately, had to pay for it. I was sentenced to prison for distribution of narcotics. The whole time when I would do the things that I was doing, Tim always was in my ear. Tacoma, come on back. You know your upbringing, you know where you come from. Come back, get everything, get yourself together. And prior to my incarceration, I started to make a change, but it was a little too late. I was locked up, sentenced to some time, but I had made up in my mind that it would never happen again. So I came home, and there was the Bon Secours program on Fulton that Mr. Sterling Brunson and Timothy Bridges was in control of. Tim told me, Tacoma, come down here as soon as I got out. Tacoma, come down here. We have an excellent program. The program could help you with work skills, getting a job, because I never had a job. I was always self-employed. So nevertheless, I came home, I got into the program, and it was an awesome, awesome program. It was a haven, a place to be for people who didn't have the skills to go out and find a job, didn't know how to speak to employers about getting a job, didn't have computer skills to even apply for a job. So it was an excellent, excellent program that I went through. Again, because of my entrepreneurial skills that I had since a youth, I always wanted to do my own thing. So I ended up, after landing a job for not too long, I was laid off, not because of my doing, but I was laid off. But I took that money from my tax return, purchased me a truck, and started a business, a moving and hauling business. And with the support of people like Sterling Brunson, Timothy Bridges, the people in this lovely community that always watched over me and helped me in any and every kind of way possible, I'm able to employ people now and give jobs to other people, and other people who may have been in my situation or any other situation. And I'd like to say that places like these places, this place that opened today, and any other places like that are great places for a start, for people, the at-risk youth, for people like myself and anybody in the community. So I strongly support them, and I'd like to say that any and everybody here, please support the program. Thank you, have a great one.
We thank God for you. On that note, you need to hear from some young people, right? Yes, sir. All right, let's turn it over to our young people. We have with us Miss Bridget Clark, who's been with Positive Youth Expression School for 12 years, and Miss Denisha Johnson, who's been with us for 3 years. She's a graduate of Bowie State University. and we thank God for them. Are you all going to come out here? You going to stand up here? Can you perform from there? You can perform from there. You stay on the steps. Stay on the steps like that, but it's not any space out here. You stay on the steps. There you go. And then they can see you. They just have to turn around. Okay, right there. Y'all clap for the young people. Let's go, young people. Let's go. Whoever's ready, let's go.
Genesis 1 and 1 in
Oh,
the
excuse me,
beginning.
ma'am, I can't hear you. You know you talk loud. Okay? We like power. Power. Come on, let's go. Power.
Genesis 1 and 1 in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Matthew 9 verse 9. Jesus said, follow me.
Let your speech be always with grace. Colossians 4:6.
Acts 17:28. In him we live and move and have our being.
Ezekiel 44:23. Teach my people the holy ways.
And y'all smile so they won't be scared, because they're powerful. Now, I promise y'all pizza next week. But you got to put it out there, right? And all those people out there gonna buy you pizza. Put it on out there. I went loud, big thank you, Blake.
Affirmation statements. Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
No, excuse me, guys. No, come on now. Come on now. Y'all are better than this. You're better than this, okay? Dr. King said what? Do the best that you can do with what you have. So let's give it to, they need encouragement. So encourage them. All right, let's start again.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.
I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. Because I am who God says I am. Because I am who God says I am. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm the head and not the tail. Because I am who God says I am. Because I am who God says I am.
I am God's child.
I am God's child. Because I am who God says I am. Because I am who God says I am. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb.
I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
I will go to high school.
I will go to high school.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
I will succeed in life.
I will succeed in life.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
I'm the child of the Most High God.
I'm the child of the Most High God.
Because I am who God says I am.
Because I am who God says I am.
God is love.
God is love.
Yes, yes, indeed.
They're not finished yet. We're going to do a song. Let's go. But we have to move this program on, young people. Say, young people. Young people. They are successful already. This is what I'm saying. I need y'all to locate out here. You can't go here in front. Okay? And I need that first place to say it loud. Okay, let's go.
You want the chair over here? There's a chair here.
If he did it before, he can do it again. If he did it before, he can do it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go! I won't give in. No, I'm not gonna turn around. I know I will
put your hands together again for the young people. And you know, some of these young people have been in positive youth expression. Our program starts at 6 weeks and goes to the 8th grade. Some of these children are graduating. Put my 8th graders graduates. That want to top of the campus. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. They've been in our program since they were like babies up to age 3, and now they're 8th grade on their way to high school. I think we've done a great job. I think they are prepared for high school. So we thank God for them. So let's look at our program. We thank God for this program, this wonderful program. Again, we thank our mayor for being here today. Guess who else I see that want to keep coming through our building, checking to see if we got the right fire stuff in our building. The fire code man, where is he? I see him back there. Thank God you already been in this year. And we thank God for the fire department as well. If you're looking at our program, I don't know if Delegate Haynes is here.
Is anybody here from Delegate Haynes' office?
Delegate Haynes' office. All right, then we will.
So Delegate Haynes, let me present this on
Okay.
Delegate Haynes' behalf. So Delegate Haynes actually is in session, so they have like a double session down in Annapolis. But we are so honored and proud to have Delegate Haynes as our delegate. Yes. Y'all put your hands together for Delegate Haynes. Him and our Senator Shirley Pulliam were very instrumental in this bond bill. And so one of the things that, if he was here, what we were going to do is present him with this honor. We're actually going to be naming our boardroom after Delegate Haynes. So this will be, actually we're going to do the P.P. Haynes boardroom, and that's going to be on the 2nd floor. And we'll get that to him, but I wanted to say to you all that him and that legislature was so very important to this community. And, you know, not only as that, I'll let Talib say something on my time about what else Delegate Haynes has done in this community. So that's for Delegate Haynes.
And at this time, we're going to have some special words of encouragement from Honorable John Bullock, Councilman 9th District.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. So this is a great day, isn't it? So many of us in the community know this has really been a long time coming. I remember being here years ago when it looked nothing like this. And, you know, the only way that we get any success in this neighborhood, in this community, in this city is really through partnerships. And so we have our mayor here, Delegate Haynes. You know, it's important to have that partnership between the city and the state. But then also with our neighborhood associations, our faith community, but then also partners like Bon Secours and Kaiser. You know, it's so important to try to get the resources here for our communities. You know, we've seen some challenging times here. We know some brighter days on the horizon. And so by doing things like this, it shows that the future is going to be brighter than the past. You know, and I'm very encouraged being here today. It's also encouraging seeing all the people who are here today. You know, just seeing all the bright, smiling, shining faces who just put their hands to the grindstone, and now we're here today. And so I'm just thankful for this moment, this opportunity, this blessed day, because quite frankly, you know, we have some challenges, and this is really a step toward the future. We recognize that the future is going to be so much brighter, and it's my pleasure to represent this district. It's my pleasure to be partners with these community members. You know, I know Tim has been working for some years, and Edna Mans, and all these other folks have really just been working. So the day really belongs to all of you. We're just here to really support you in the effort that you've been doing, and then also encourage you to move forward. So this is only the first step, and there are many more to come. So God bless you all. Thank you for coming out today, and this is a wonderful day. Thank you all.
We're now here from Brandon McCloskey. McCloskey.
Hi, my name is Brendan McCluskey, and I'm the principal of Trident Builders. I'll keep this short because I was not prepared to speak today. This was an interesting project right from the get-go. Walked into it, and it was in really rough shape. It was, a dilapidated building. Things were falling out of place. The structure was collapsing. And I saw nothing but challenge, but I also saw nothing but opportunity. Over the last couple months, we've forged some really great relationships and really reached out to some of our peers in our network around the community. And we've had great help from organizations like the Urban Land Institute that's here, some of our fellow companies in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program that lended a hand and helped us execute this vision. And we couldn't be any prouder of the final result. It came out looking fantastic. We've built some great relationships with the Margaret Secor, who's had an excellent team, and Lisa Satura and George Klebb. I have to say that the client thought that this project was really about them, but I think through the process, we learned an awful lot about ourselves, and we learned what was important to us. And I think for the first time, and since I've started this company, I've got a vision of what it is I want to achieve. And I want to thank the client for giving me that opportunity. So, thank you.
We'll now have some words from Edna Mann. And I remember when we first came into the community and we started building in 1999, the old book bindery company right there on Bentlow Street. It was like a big old ugly, stinky warehouse. And we started bringing kids in for summer camps and all. And Edna was the first one who said, let me purchase your pool table and what's that ping pong table and a basketball hoop. And we had about 100 kids in that building that summer for the program. Thank you.
I just want y'all to know that I'm just about at tears right now. We have been on a long journey. This organization started in 1993 when the drugs were taken over in our community, when all four corners were filled and people had no hope. At the time, my delegate, Elijah Cummins, came to me and said, Edna, I'm gonna give you a challenge. It's up to you whether you take it or not. Now, the way you live, that area, you are not receiving any funding. Nothing is going on, but I give you this challenge. And I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I felt as though I wasn't ready. I had my own plans. I was working at Hopkins and taking my vacation, leaving the country, having a ball. Till I know, unlike Dr. Folks, when God wants you to do something, He wants you to do it. And when He knocked on my door, tapped me on my shoulder and said, it's time. And I kept saying, no, no. And He said, yes. And we started fighting. I think I was fighting with God's finger, little finger. But they got the best of me. I gave in. And I took that challenge. And I thank everybody that have supported us throughout the years. The residents that was here when I first started gave me full support. They were my elders. Yes. They're no longer here, but they're here in my heart. And I thank them for all the encouragement that they gave me. And I thank everyone here that's still supportive of us. We still need you. And thank you, and I thank God for you. Thank you.
And now we'll have some words from Sterling. There you are. How did I miss that pink shirt?
Woo! Edna, you crying and almost made me cry. I want to say greetings to everybody, and I really am so impressed with you all here. You know, it's all about relationship. Pastor P.M. Smith always says that, or it ain't about nothing. And I'm so grateful that we had good relationships with people all over the years. I can remember a time when Tim and I went over to, at that time it was Delegate Cummings' office, and he was real busy on a particular Tuesday. So we walked in the office, and the secretary said, well, guys, you're gonna have to wait because he's busy with something. So we sat around, we talking, and then he finally came out, and he said, he was all in a rush. He said, hey, what you want? I'm kind of busy, I'm busy. And so we looked at him. Tim looked, and I looked. He said, people asking me for things right now, and I'm kind of busy. I said, Tim looked at him, and we looked at him. He said, we came over here to give you an award. He said, an award? And so, now we don't know if we want to give it to you now. So he looked at us, and he sat down, and he was almost in tears. And I said, you all right? He said, man, nobody has given, from the community? I said, yeah. And he looked at me, and we shook hands, and he said, look, come in, sit down, and we talked. And he said, I want to be able to do something for you all. And then he looked at me, he said, you know, I'm thinking about running. And I said, well, running for what? And he said, office. And I said, on a federal level? He said, yeah. And so that night, that afternoon, he said, well, can you guys come back and do some cold calling for me? I said, sure. You know, I asked him, he said, well, I'm kind of busy, but you got my back, right? I said, yeah, I got you. So him and I, we were calling people, and we asking folks, you think he could make a good congressman? And folks said, yeah. So before I was getting ready to leave, he looked at me and said, what do you think? You think I can make a good congressman? I said, you can win, Jesse. You can win, Jesse. You can win. And he looked and he started laughing. So that's about a good relationship. And look where we are right now. Because of him and that relationship, this is where we are right now. I can remember, and I want to say thank you to him, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Ross, because I can remember a time when he first came to Bon Secours. Tim and I met with him. And he said, Ed and I and Andre were sitting around what we wanted to do with him and talk with him about. So we said, we're going to make him a home-cooked meal. So he said, okay, we come over. So we called the secretary, said, we'll ask Dr. Ross to come over for a home-cooked meal, blah, blah, blah. He said, okay. But he had some time issues with him, so he may not be that long. So we strategized in trying to get him over. So he came over. And Edna's mother, Miss Thomas, bless her soul, she's no longer here. So we were sitting around talking, see if we can get her thinking about what we were going to do that night. And she said, well, how much time you got? She said, don't worry about it. She said, once he get here and eat my cornbread, he is going to stay. So I said, okay, Ma, all right. So Dr. Ross came over, and he sat down, we conversing, and it was about 7 o'clock. I looked at my clock and said, oh man, it's going on 8 o'clock, and he's still there. And he's starting to loosen up his tie. You know, next thing you know, I see him eat another piece of that cornbread. So I'm looking again, so Dr. Ross and Andre and Edna and Tim, they're all conversing in a conversation. And the lemonade ran out, so I went to make the lemonade run. So I go upstairs, and Miss Thomas was in the kitchen. And she said, how the meeting going? I said, well, it's going on, it's 8:30, he's still here. She said, baby, that's my cornbread. So she said, I said, well, what's in your cornbread? She said, love is in that cornbread. She said, you have to love these people in this community. And you got to show these people how to do love and be able to respect one another. So I said, well, Ma, okay, you got it. So I was getting ready to walk down the steps, and I forgot the lemonade. So I reached back. I said, oh, Ma, I need lemonade. So she gave it to me. I said, so what's in the lemonade? Because he's drinking that too, right? She said, well, I said, love in that? She said, no, baby, Seagram's Gin is in that. I said, Seagram's Gin? She said, no, I'm just kidding. 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 So I looked at it again. I said, are you? I said, okay, all right. So I bring the lemonade back downstairs. Dr. Ross took another glass, and he said, I said, and I'm looking at him. I said, so all I would love to say to you, it's about loving one another in this community. If I can express anything from my heart, this was a long time coming. And before I do anything else, I want to, Rodney, can you come up here, please? Edna, Tim. I was told one time to give people their flowers while they live. This is for you. And this is for you. I could not do this without these folks. None of us could do this. This is my brother. This is my sister. I would do anything for them. There is, Andre, can you give me that sign right there? This is my wish list for, I'm the treasurer for Fayette Street Outreach. I don't take that job lightly. This is my wish list. You cannot do this without any money. I say that because we were robbing Peter, Paul, all God's disciples to get this thing, and begging in the long run. This is what we need to be at. When that young brother Takuma spoke, he was an illegal pharmaceutical representative, and we changed that. We changed that. So if I can offer you anything today, on this day, we need your help. We need your help, and we love you for that. Amen. Thank you.
And you know, my husband and I, we were just talking about Congressman Elijah Cummings the other day, and we were talking about him being such a great man of integrity. And when you're a great person of integrity, you tell the truth, and you get the job done. So you all put your hands together again for Congressman Elijah Cummings. And thank you, Edna. You and Tim and Sterling, and a lot of you all in here have been to our program down the street. You've blessed our program. You've come, you spoke to the children. You've done activities with us. You've taken them to the circus, Dr. Tatiana. And I want you all to put your hands together for Body by James to come to y'all every Wednesday to give y'all fitness. So we thank you. The next person I'm going to call, she doesn't know that I've been watching her for a long time. When we first went up for our first bond bill, I went up for $500,000. And she looked at my paper and she said, you ain't getting all that next. I was like, who is this woman? But nevertheless, she fought for us, and we did get a bond bill 2 years ago to start building in West Baltimore a literacy center. So you all put your hands together for that. I watched her on the streets of Baltimore City doing the uprising, and she was out there, she was up front, she was doing a great job. She didn't let go, she was marching, she was supporting. So I want you all to put your hands together for our Mayor, Catherine E. Peters.
It is no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he will do for you. And so I want to first give honor and praise to God just for the privilege to be with you all this afternoon. And I said to our councilman, I just want to remind him and remind you all, we have a $25 million, it's usually $12 million a year, youth fund. Youth fund.
All right.
And because we didn't spend down last year, it'll come to about $24 million this year. So I saw that 99,000, that's not a lot of money in comparison to what we have.
That's right.
And, you know, I was so blessed by the young people, because this is really what it's all about.
That's right.
It's about our young people, it's about their future, and it's about what we do for them now You know, and just to hear you all say, we started at 6 weeks of age. You know, it's how we touch our children at their earliest age. It's what we do for them that keeps them from finding the streets more best for them as opposed to what we do inside of here and what they begin to do outside in our communities. And so I also want to say to Mr. Yessen, thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Because what he is saying to you all is that we should never give up hope.
That's right.
Never give up hope. And I want you all to know, and it's important for me to share this because people have said, you know, why you keep saying Mayor Pugh change the narrative? Because we should.
That's right.
We should. Because we live in a great city.
Yes, we do.
Look what happened to this building. Help me understand why we can't do the rest of this building. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to have boarded up houses in our neighborhoods. And this is what people forget. And I've been saying this all. I'm going to be the mayor of neighborhoods, investing in our neighborhoods. And I want to share with you all a little story because you're not far from Sandtown.
That's right.
And I never forget, Councilman, cutting the ribbon on Center Stage. You all know where Center Stage is. And the gentleman walked up to me and he said, "Oh, isn't this beautiful?" And I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "Look out there. This is the new Baltimore." And what I was looking at was about 90% of the population I was looking at that moment was white. And then in the same breath, he said to me, "What happened to Sandtown?" He said, "Because I was there with Jim Rouse. We went there, we tried to build it up, and look at it now." And so what happened? Now, I wasn't there, but I did feel compelled to answer. And so I said, "Did you ingratiate anybody in the community? Did anybody in the community participate in the rebuilding of Sandtown? Did you open up one black business in Sandtown? Did you help grow any small businesses in Sandtown?" And he just turned and walked away. And I have a white friend, Michelle Wilder. We're very good friends. And I was sharing that story with her because I knew she was very close to Jim Rouse. And she said, "Jim Rouse said if there was anything I did not do, I didn't include the people in Sandtown, in the plan, in the makeover." And so the message, you all, is that this city has to be more inclusive. It has to be more diverse. Economic is the new social justice. And I just heard someone say that earlier today when we were cutting the ribbon over an apartment building. But it is about the economics. Because if we're going to lift these young people up and push them forward, we've got to make sure they have opportunity. And we're going to rebuild neighborhoods and communities, then we have to include ourselves in that opportunity. If we're going to have a $12 million annually youth fund, we've got to make sure that our children in our communities take advantage of that. 16,500 young people this summer applied to work. 16,500. We were averaging 5,000 a year. We went up to 8,000 the year before. We got to 12,000 last year. Had to go out and raise $20 million privately. This year, about $25 million, because we want to make sure those children work. Because believe it or not, there's some who they don't just want to work. Some need to work. Need to work. So we've created year-round programs. We got this program with Be More Beautiful. And I love it because the young people are out there helping to pick up the trash. And one young lady said to me, "I'll never ever drop another piece of trash." Because every Saturday for 4 hours, they get paid $10 an hour to help pick up trash in the city. Now they're supposed to be working 4 hours. I think they usually work about 3, but they do get paid 4. Because the other thing we're trying to do is give them other experiences. You know, a week and a half ago, we took 3,000 young people, 3,000, over to Washington, D.C. No tax dollars, you all. And if you could have seen our young people, the ones from Baltimore, we had an African-American company make them all their T-shirts. We had food donated so that they could, I tell you, after the Laura Ingram show, donations poured into Baltimore like you would not believe. I said, thank you, Laura, love. And we were able to take them all over, bring them back, but the experience, you all. How many people know that the Baltimore Art Museum is free?
Yes, that's right.
Free.
Yes, it is.
How many of these young people been to the Baltimore Art Museum?
Oh, they've been.
And the Walters Art Gallery. We want to make sure our children see beyond their neighborhoods and their communities. And not that we don't have great communities, because these communities are going to be greater. You know, you all heard me when I was inaugurated. You know, I talked about 1523 North Fulton Street. I said if it was any other neighborhood, an old burnt out church, we'd have torn it down by now. Got torn down the next week. Should not have taken me to become a mayor to do that.
That's right.
Park Heights Avenue, we're going to change it. Coming down Monroe Street, coming down Blue Hill Avenue, it's time for change, you all. I keep telling people, these are not poor people. These are poorly invested neighborhoods. We have homeowners living in these neighborhoods, living in these communities, own their houses, not going anywhere, and praying for the day that the city comes in and works with them to do what needs to be done. I can tell you it won't happen overnight, but honest to goodness, that is my commitment to this city. We will change this city. And for those who are watching, whether violence is going up or down, violence is going down in every single category in the city. But let me just say this to you all. Black on black crime in the city is out of control.
Yes, it is. Yes,
People shooting each other like they're gonna get up tomorrow and star in another movie. This is not a movie, this is real life. Bullets. Illegal guns on the streets of our city are out of control. Those two young ladies, the mother and the daughter, got killed the other day because somebody was dealing with seeking drugs or trying to get paid or whatever and threatened these folks and killed them. Something's wrong with that. And so we have to pray for our community.
Yes, we do.
And I tell you, I've yet to meet the person that I've not put my children specifically. And you can see it, you're witness. Put your arms around them, as you said, love them, changes lives. And I tell people, don't judge. Don't judge. Because you don't know somebody's circumstance. It's only by the grace of God it could be any of us.
That's right.
Homeless, helpless, drug addicted.
That's right.
That's why we opened up the first stabilization center in this city at the old Lutheran site, a hospital site, so that we can get the medical community to understand that drug addiction is an illness and should be treated as such. So when we show them that we'll save them money in the emergency rooms by providing the wraparound services that we need, and then why are we not using telemedicine to deal with methadone at this stage of the game? So people aren't strolling up and down streets and standing on corners and drug dealers preying on them. I tell people, if you're a drug dealer, where you going to go stand? You're a drug treatment center. You got a ready-made clientele. People fighting to get off and you fighting to keep them on. So we got a lot of work to do, you all, but I am so proud of the work that has been done here and the commitment of Bond Secure, Kaiser, and you all standing here crying because you know that this was a work of love, a labor of love, and that there are those who are not with us, who started out with us, but it is about the journey. So thank you for the journey, but more importantly, let's stay committed to working together, and please, and your councilman will work with you, please, let's put together a program this summer. I was looking at the wish list here. Computer training, robotics, video games. You already started your grant program for this summer. Let's put it together. Let's submit a grant. Let's make sure we're taking advantage of the opportunities that exist in this city. We have a balanced budget, and I just want to dispel this myth. Everybody talks about how much we spend on policing in the city. I want to remind you all that when I came in 2016, we had frozen police positions in this city since 2015. I don't know why. By the time I got here, we were almost 700 to 800 police less than what we should have. And so when they say we're adding 100 police officers, we're unfreezing the positions that we're authorized for. And at the same time, we spend $500 million, this city spends $550 million on policing. We only get 1% of that budget for the police department from the state. We spend $1.3 billion on education because 65% of those dollars come from the state. The city's entire operating budget is $2.8 billion. So I'm not gonna stop picking up your trash. We need to pick it up faster, more often. You know, we gotta get these alleys cleaned up and we gotta fix these border houses and we gotta create homes and green space in our neighborhoods. And so I ask you all to work with us, work with me because I'm working for you. I tell people there's nothing I'd rather be doing. I pinch myself every day in spite of the challenges that I get to do this work. But I do it on behalf of all of you all. So I am grateful for the work that you're doing now and the work that we will do together in the future. Love each other, pray for each other, continue to believe in our young people, push them forward, make them the leaders of tomorrow. It's all on us. Thank you and God bless. So while I don't have a boardroom or anything named after me, I'm gonna put this plaque up in there somewhere. So this is my salute to you all. Thank you.
And our mayor talks about green space because you supported us in our 2015 bond bill. We were able to raise 2 dilapidated houses that had been messed up for 30 years. Drug addiction was going on and created green space in West Baltimore City. So I thank you for that.
And we want to make sure that we're creating green space that we can utilize. I just also want to remind you all that we got $1 billion to build 28 new schools in this city. We'll build more new schools in this city than the entire state of Maryland. We opened up 2 last year. We've opened up 2 thus far. We've got 2 that we're opening up in April. And I think by 7 by the end of this year, another 7 next year. Let's just keep it going. Thank you.
Let us now hear from a representative from Honorable Senator Shirley Nathan Fuller's office. That's where y'all clap. That's the
Hello, everyone. I am so excited and so honored to be a part of this occasion. I'm representing Senator Shirley Nathan Pulliam, District 44. And as was stated before, they're in the last couple of days of a grueling session. And they're doing multiple sessions and hearings and committee hearings. So right now, that's where she is. But she felt this was so important that she be represented. She and Delegate Haynes did work on the bond bill to get the funding, and they were very proud of that. So she feels very happy to be a part of this. At this point, I'd like to read a letter that she sent and wanted to let her know her words. Hello, Fayette Street Outreach. I am excited to bring you greetings on behalf of the Maryland General Assembly. On the occasion of the ribbon cutting of the Fayette Street Outreach Community Center, this is a very special occasion to celebrate the ongoing work of Fayette Street Outreach as an advocate to rebuild and restore strong communities. I regret I cannot be there with you today. We're in the last 2 days of the legislature, and I'm currently in multiple committee hearings and sessions. The opening of this facility means that the significant and crucial work will grow to provide a platform to revitalize neighborhoods, sustain a healthy standard of living and quality of life for residents to enjoy. Further, the programs at the center will support a larger vision, including youth mentorship, job training for youth and adults, health wellness, to name a few. Fayette Street Outreach, when the call to service went out, you answered with unflinching determination and single-minded dedication. Your mission to provide a resource and support mechanism for the West Baltimore community as a whole has been accomplished with hard work and steel resolve. To Ms. Edna Manslake, Tim Bridges, Sterling Brunson, the members of the Fayette Street Outreach, and the longtime residents of the Fayette Street neighborhood, I applaud your tenacity to ignite change to revive productivity. You laid the groundwork to ensure that the achievements of today will be continued by future generations. As your senator, I am proud to honor your commitment and passion. Fayette Street Outreach and the constituents of District 44, you really know how to roll up your sleeves and do the work. Best wishes for a successful event and your future ventures. Sincerely, Shirley Nathan Pulliam. At this point, could I ask Ms. Mans, Mr. Bridges, Mr. Brunson? And I must add, this is truly a relationship, because working with organizations and working with the legislature, I found out I had a cousin in Baltimore by the name of Mr. Sterling Brunson.
It's about that relationship.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Maryland General Assembly official citation. Be it hereby known to all that Fayette Street Outreach Organization, in recognition of the celebration of the ribbon cutting of the Fayette Street Outreach Center on North Smallwood Street, I applaud your diligent and ongoing leadership and vision to serve the community at the highest level. Best wishes for success in your future endeavors, presented on the 6th day of April 2018. Senator Shirley Nathan Pulliam. I present it to you on behalf of Senator Nathan Pulliam. And I thank you so much. The Senator just wanted me to add that she is so proud of the dedication and the work that everyone is willing to do. You realize what needs to be done, and you are coming forth to do it. And once again, she sends her wonderful words of wishes for best luck in the future.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our young people, we do have a dismissal, so they're going to sing a song as they leave. They're going to be coming right through here, cutting right through you all. Let's give our young people another hand. And they're going to march out saying, thank you for saving my life. 1, 2, 3, and.
Thank you for saving my life.
I can't hear you.
Thank you for being so nice.
You are.
You are my everything.
I can't hear you. Saving my life. Thank you. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you so much. We do have dismissal. At this time, we're going to hear remarks from Honorable Elijah Cummings' office.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Madam Mayor, distinguished guests, and undistinguished guests if you think you're an undistinguished guest. Thank you for coming. Congressman Cummings had, a lot of you know, a heart operation and then 2 knee operations. He is recuperating. He's still training his knee, so he couldn't be here. He would be here if it wasn't for his doctor telling him he needed to train his knee. I remember walking through this building in, I think it was 2005, with Edna and her posse, and it was a mess. And this was after the contractor had done the work. Ms. Mans said, I need help. Congressman Cummings and Senator Mikulski when there were earmarks, I think provided the first $200,000 for the building. And that money was not properly used. Ms. Mans and I walked through here and her posse, and we made assessments. We were in the basement like this because it had been done so poorly. And she said, I can't stop. And they said, we won't stop. So we went back again. They kept in contact with Congressman Cummings. They, in fact, came to his office and cried because they were in so much pain because they couldn't get to do what they wanted to do. So for everybody here who wants to do something and it's not going your way, this is what you can do if you don't stop. Congressman Cummings and others and people here, people in the community, and the hospital and the contractor, a different contractor, and other people got together and they kept on going. They just kept on going. And when people say, well, you know, you can't, it was not, why would you take 2 row houses and make it anything? Some people said, it can't be done. In fact, and I'm gonna be bad, I'm sorry, Ms. Mans was accused of stealing the money. So she got hurt, hit, disappointed, and she kept saying, I can't stop. It's gonna be that. The last time, Sterling reminded me, they came crying, and they were crying. I'm talking about crying. I said, it's gonna be all right. And Ms. Mann said, I know it's gonna be all right. And it turned out that with their work, with God's help, with their work, this is work. What you see now is work. The mayor works. You might not get everything you want, but if you want something and you keep at it, this is what it can be. Some of you weren't born in 2001. I think when we started having the conversations about this, if you weren't born in 2001, I had a whole group of people who weren't born in 2001, but they left. So if you weren't born in 2001, raise your hand. All right. So y'all look younger than y'all are. That's good. So you all, some of you might remember that there used to be a civil rights song. They would say, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Y'all remember that? Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. So when I think of particularly Ms. Mans, her posse, Fayette Street Outreach, the people in this community, it just is in my head. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. For me, I will say to you, if you want to do something, do it. If you keep saying, I need to do something, I need to do something, don't necessarily create something new. Go to any school, talk to the principal, and ask her what she needs, and provide it. That way, things like this, things in Baltimore, will turn around. It's us. It's us. It's not just her and him. It's us. They were in different positions. Some were very young when this started. So when you look and you say, well, I need the man. You do need the man. But you need yourself. This is your proof. If you say, God, give me a message, an answer, you need something bigger than this to get started? This was a row house with nothing in it. So I would encourage you, I said to myself, I'm not going to be long. I feel like I've been too long. So I would encourage you on behalf of Congressman Cummings, who couldn't be here because he is nursing himself back to health, to continue to do what you're doing. I congratulate Fayette Street. Thank you very much.
So just before Vernon goes, as he says, our Congressman Elijah Cummings has been very instrumental in helping us. And yes, the first funds we got through HUD came through Elijah Cummings. So it would be befitting that our computer lab is going to be named after Congressman Elijah Cummings. So you can take that back to the
I'll take it
congressman.
back.
Let them know we need some computers.
All right. I'll leave it here for now.
We're going to move right along so you all can get something to eat. Now we will have remarks from Dr. Samuel L. Ross, for Baltimore Health System.
Good afternoon. I know I'm standing between y'all and the chicken wings, so I won't be long. Madam Mayor, Councilman, other dignitaries representing Congressman, Senator, and others, thank you all for being here. Isn't Sterling pretty sharp today, isn't he? Every day. He's bringing spring in. So I'm just going to make 3 points. Some of you heard me say I'm the son of a Baptist preacher. So I'm going to make 3 points, and then we're going to pass the collection plate toward that $99,000. Okay, I just want to speak on 3 things. One is leadership. The second is hope. And the third is really about possibilities. So I should have known when I went to dinner that night that there was no such thing as a free dinner. And that's held true over these years because Edna, Tim, Sterling, I mean, they've always been partners on a number of fronts throughout these years. So leadership is about hope and inspiration. And I would say that about our mayor, as I've heard her speak, and our other speakers. We have leaders now that really inspire hope and give us that inspiration for what we can do successfully in this community. And speaking of hope, St. Augustine, he said, hope has 2 beautiful daughters, courage and anger. And what I've also experienced in my 11 years here in Baltimore, particularly from Edna, Mayor, and others, they have courage to speak up for what they believe is right. Courage to speak up for inequities that exist in our communities, and the courage to say it to people who need to hear it and not be afraid to do so. And the anger part, the second sister, anger, is not to go around being mad at everybody all the time, but it's about advocacy. Are you willing to take that courage, use your voice, and speak up for what needs to be addressed and what needs to be changed? And so I've seen that both from the leadership and the hope and the inspiration that they have provided. And then the third point I wanted to make is about possibilities. Somebody said once that I was listening to an inspirational speaker, and they said, what you don't want to suffer from is possibility blindness. And so what I've experienced with these leaders, all of these leaders, is that they don't have that disease. They don't have possibility blindness because they look around them and they don't dwell on, oh, this is so terrible, woe is me, but they dwell on what is it that I can do first, and then what it is that we can do together in order to make this better. So I thank them for their leadership. I thank them for the hope and the inspiration that they have provided, and I thank them for not suffering from possibility blindness. And I'll just end by saying, because I think someone else said this earlier, what I've experienced from Edna and others, and even though she has to put up with Andre, what I experienced is that she never gives up, never gives up. And in her own quiet yet forceful way, she keeps pushing to the point that we can get something done. So congratulations on this day and these accomplishments, and God bless you. Thank you.
So we give another round of applause to all of our speakers today, all of our visitors today. And of course, KSC Outreach, we thank you for the work that you're doing. And I know this is going to be a big project, a great project, because Tim, Edna, Sterling, and Andre, they always seeded into positive youth expression. When this was just a shell and they weren't building on it yet, they will come down to 200 North Ventulo Street and they will pour all their resources, their time, and their efforts into the young people there. So because you seeded into the young people, this is going to be a great program. So put your hands together again for that. We want to remind you that a positive youth expression is right at 200 North Ventulo Street. I am a product of the Gilmore Projects from the 1960s. I thank God for my time there, the clean block, the beautiful time, and great things are still happening in Baltimore City. Our young people come into our program at age 6 weeks. They stay up to the 8th grade. You saw some of them, and some of them go on to college and come back. And I have my granddaughter now, graduated from Boyd State University as one of my teachers now. So it's a great program. We're down the street and we collaborate with Fayette Street Outreach. God bless you. Have a great day. And I turn you over to Tim Bridges.
God bless you.
Thank you all again. So in my closing remarks, I just want to say that, you know, this took a lot of work, and everybody that had a hand in, you know, I see Kia back there, Lisa, you got, is Brian here? Brian and Tate? Brian Claiborne? Brian, come up here. Brian and Tate, Mr. Tate, come on up here. And Tacoma, where you at? So actually, Brian is actually, if you look at the back of the paper, Brian actually is the printer. And so what we're looking for, Madam Mayor, is an opportunity that Brian is going to come here and teach printing to reentry folks, and then split off in the evening to teaching children how to print. And then Mr. Tate is a licensed contractor. And Mr. Tate is willing to work with these guys on the corner to get them at least an opportunity to say, hey, look, is there something you want to do with construction that gives you an opportunity? You may not be sure, but we want to be able to work maybe a month and then see how you like it. If you like it, then we'll look to find some resources to give you some more training. And then Mr. Tacoma here, he's our local mover in Harlem. He does moving. So, Madam Mayor, what I'm saying to you and Dr. Folks down at the school, we have a vision also for $250,000 for our West Baltimore Creative Theater at their school. So those young people and other young people have an opportunity to at least get what we owe them. It's our responsibility. So these dollars that are coming in this city, we're willing, and we have a great city. We have a great mayor that's active, action-oriented. He's not sitting around. We were just talking about your strategy and the violence reduction initiative at Crime and Grime. And so we are looking forward to working with the city because this is our community. I see Glenn back there from Coppin Heights. You know, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. Community Works, you know, I see in Kendra back there, daycare. You know, it's a lot of stuff. Tabernacle, Central, you know, our family at Bond. But I just wanted to bring these gentlemen up here because they actually are the ones that have expertise and they want to work with these young people. So we just need to sit down and figure out a strategy to get some funding so that we can get some of these folks off the corner. So that's pretty much my closing remarks, is that I appreciate everyone coming out. We're getting ready to put the ribbon across here so we can cut the ribbon. You know, Mr. Leo's there, rehabbing, has 40 houses that he's rehabbing. We ain't here to quit, we winning. And we're here and we're gonna fight because them young people, it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to find a place. And just so that you know, the library down there, Delegate Haynes again, and that's legislature with Kaiser and Bonsecourt, went down there, Miss Bertha, and got $1 million for that building down there. And also we want to thank the mayor, because if it was not for the mayor, she's helping us get the building. And that building's assessed for over $200,000. So we want to give her a hand. She's making it happen. I just wanted you to see them. I think the Lieutenant Governor, is he here? Not yet? Okay. So what we're getting ready to do is get the ribbon. Mr. Rodney has a ribbon. Y'all can come on, take y'all places, Madam Mayor.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We also have a board that you all can sign. Brendan has the board. You can walk around and sign the board.
Oh, you want to give me that?